Hi, I'm Anton, Product Manager for VPG Micromeasurements, and I'm here with Datum Electronics. We're talking about strain gauges, about how reliable they are, about how accurate they are, and about the many products that Datum use with our strain gauges. We're specifically going to talk now about these torsion transducers, where, for example, in here there are some strain gauges. So as I'm gently twisting this, those strain gauges are actually responding to my input because they are extremely sensitive. I'll hand over now to talk in more detail about these products.
Yes, thank you, Anton. I'm Paul Lynch. I'm the Contracts and Sales Manager for Datum Electronics worldwide. We have a small selection here of our off-the-shelf products, which are mainly used for rig transducers, where people want to monitor or measure torque or shaft power within a machine or in a test rig for testing things like motors, pumps and things of that nature. Now, Datum Electronics use VPG micromeasurement gauges mainly because of their reliability and their high accuracy. So all of these products have those gauges within them, and it gives us we're safe in the knowledge that they're going to be reliable and they're going to last, and they're going to give the customer the information that they need.
Yeah, so you've been using strain gauge for 30 years now, and you were telling me
Yes.
how some of your transducers are still performing to published specification even after 30 years.
Yeah, so we've got a calibration service that we offer, and we've got transducers that are still coming back to us that were made 30 years ago, and in some cases even longer than that. And the repeatability and the accuracy is actually they improve with age. Anyone who knows anything about the way metal responds to use, but they are still perfectly acceptable in their operation, and that is mainly due to the fact that strain gauges are so reliable, and if they're installed correctly, then they will last they'll outlive the operator, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we've been training your technicians and engineers to install strain gauges to very robust standards.
Yeah, you provide a very full and useful training program, and you've got a training program worldwide, as I understand, where anyone who wishes to maybe install just a few gauges for a test application, or like ourselves for manufacturers who want to produce highly accurate products, the whole of that is catered for by Micromeasurements. So yeah, we're very happy to use the products and the services, and for us the partnership word is something we like to refer to, because
I've been speaking to engineers for the best part of 30 years now.
Yes, yeah, so we've got a good relationship there. If we have a problem or we need advice about a particular gauge for an application that we have, we know we can pick up the phone and we can get the benefit of your advice. And in actual fact, one thing I should mention is that we have some products which we make in very high volume, and you guys have designed and delivered bespoke gauges for us, so custom strain gauges. That is one part that we're very grateful for.
Yeah. So you use, in majority of these, use what we call our transducer class strain gauges, designed for very high accuracy. They've got features that lend themselves to this kind of application.
Yes, and the beauty of the strain gauge technology is sample rates. So we have a product which some people might have heard of, called Diesel Hawk. Now, the Diesel Hawk monitoring system samples the strain gauge at very high frequencies, higher than is normally expected for a typical transducer or shaft power meter, particularly mainly applied in the marine industry, but there has other applications as well, like the wind turbine industry. So it's a very simple condition monitoring type device using one sensor, monitoring the torque signal at very high frequencies, and from the torque signal or rather Datum Electronics, we can analyze that signal, and we can see particular changes that occur within that machinery. For example, on a diesel engine, we can see things like gasket failures or gearboxes.
And this is purely from the strain gauge measurement on the drive shaft?
Purely from one strain gauge on the drive shaft, sampling at a very high frequency. We have two channels. We have the standard channel of average data which most people expect and use for things like ship performance monitoring.
Okay, for fuel efficiency and that kind of thing.
Exactly. But then we have a separate channel which we specialize in, which has an analysis of a very high frequency, and it's looking for changes in the torque signal, and it will alert the ship owner or the machine operator to changes in that machine, so that
predictive maintenance, essentially.
Predictive maintenance, condition monitoring. So if you imagine a wind turbine that's out in the open hundreds of miles away, or in the middle of the sea, for example, the system can monitor it for you and alert the owner or the operator that there's a problem that probably might need an engineer to go out and have a look before the thing completely breaks.
Yeah. So looking at things like torsion on a ship's drive shaft, we might use a strain gauge called a 250 US, which you would find on our website. This is specifically designed for ship's drive shaft monitoring, and that strain gauge will respond to many hundreds of kilohertz. So you can pick up, as you say, things like individual cylinders in engines, any vibration, any bearing failures.
Yes, it all shows up as torque ripple, I think some people refer to it. So,
well, sometimes people might discard things like that as noise, but actually what you're saying is it is a representation of what's actually going on.
It's an area of expertise that we've developed from other industries, and we've brought it into the marine industry and also the wind turbine industry. So we started out with gearbox monitoring for the automotive industry, and we've introduced it now into other industries and shown the benefit of it. And the beauty of it is you don't need lots and lots of sensors measuring different things. All of that information is coming from the strain gauge. We dynamically sample it. You just need to have the right software to analyze the information.
So what you're taking is a technology invented in the 1950s. You're applying modern electronics to those sensors and finding out things that even a few years ago perhaps we couldn't find out.
Absolutely. I look upon it as a perfect marriage, if you like. So you've got the benefit of all that experience and proven technology, and you're bringing to it modern technology and putting the two together.
Yeah, so fully wireless. So although the strain gauge is bonded to the shaft,
absolutely no contact.
Takeoff, no contact. So it doesn't affect the measurement you're trying to make.
No.
And then your modern electronics with modern algorithms, you can extract a lot of detail.
Yes, and it's completely scalable. I mean, these transducers here can be any size shaft. We've made these from 3 Newton meters up to 20 meganewton meters, 2 meters in diameter. We do change the design in that we don't have any fully enclosed stator, but the electronics is completely scalable and will fit to virtually any shaft. And we've done that, as I say, up to 20 meganewton meters, and it will fit any shaft at all. So if a customer has an application where they don't have room to fit something in line, we can adapt the shaft in the machine to actually become the transducer. And there is information about that on YouTube. If you search for Datum Electronics, there's a video explaining that.
So you can actually go on site effectively and install gauges on existing drive shaft to make it into a transducer.
Yes, we do that as well. We have a test service and a monitoring service, for example, for shipyards that have done maintenance on a ship. They want to then monitor the improvement, say in hull fouling. So they can temporarily install a shaft power monitoring system using a strain gauge. The engineer quickly installs that as a temporary measure, and they've got a torque and a shaft power measurement system straight away.
That's fantastic, thank you.
You're very welcome, thank you.